Hi and welcome to episode 28 of the This Is Reportage podcast. My name is Alan Law, I'm the founder of This Is Reportage, and I'm a wedding photographer too. Delighted to be bringing you the fantastic Peter Geluk today. Based in the Netherlands and one half of Love Rules, Pete shoots with his wife Mitzy, and they were both in our top 100 photographers of 2019 list with a plethora of awards between them. Pete shares so much with us today, including how a certain scary event led him to be in business with his wife, the reason why he's found himself shooting less frames per wedding, a great tip to increase your patience and concentration, how being a wedding photographer has had an effect on his character, and much more. Hey Peter, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, Alan. How are you? So nice to talk to you.
Oh, really nice to hear you as well. Really cool. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. All good, all good. Well, as good as can be expected, I guess, at the moment. Yeah, how's things with you over there? Because you're in Holland, aren't you?
I am in Holland or the Netherlands. Yeah, it's actually it's not bad. At the beginning of the pandemic was trickier than it is now somehow. So I sort of settled into it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you do start to kind of almost accept it as a new way of life in a way, which is
yes, and we have two kids, so that was a bit more challenging in the beginning than it is now. So we found sort of a rhythm.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Are you homeschooling them?
We are homeschooling them, but that ends next week. So.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Because it is hard, isn't it? It's hard, that homeschooling.
It's really hard. It's really hard. It's so much hard. There's so much more respect for all the teachers out there. Unbelievable.
So true. Yeah, definitely. How old are your kids then?
So my kids are 4 and 6. The eldest is 6, and he's a boy. Well, obviously the eldest is 6. He's a boy. His name is Mart, and the younger one is a girl. She's 4 years old, so she just started school.
Oh, okay. Well, and they're both going back there next week.
They are both going back. They're sort of doing half and half. So they're going the Mondays and the Wednesdays, and then the other half of the class is going the other days, or something like that. So yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because here in the UK we don't know yet what's going to happen. Apparently on Sunday there's going to be a big kind of speech by the Prime Minister to give us that overall roadmap. But at the moment, all schools are off, and we just don't know what's going to happen. But that's interesting that you were doing that.
Yeah. The treat it a little differently here.
And how has it been in general in terms of your postponements and things? How's that been?
Yeah, well, it's not been too bad, but that's also because the majority of our weddings was in the second half of the season, so we didn't have that many in April and May.
Right.
Only a few. Those were postponed, obviously.
And what are have you been given guidelines about kind of when weddings will be back on and things?
Yeah, we just had a big announcement from the Prime Minister last Tuesday, and they're now saying from the 1st of September weddings and bigger events can happen up to 100 people.
Oh, right.
However, we have the big 1.5 meter rule here. So that's the rule that everybody keeps that distance.
Right. Well, even after the 1st of September, then for weddings as well. Oh.
Yes. So that's gonna be. I mean, a lot of couples will still be postponing because who wants to be at a 1.5 meter distance? And how will that work in reality? I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, it's mad, isn't it? You kind of almost have to smile and laugh because otherwise you could just go under, really.
I mean, what else can we do? We try to go with the flow, and I have to say, the business has sort of taken a backseat to homeschooling and entertaining the kids. I feel like a full-time children entertainer now. Although my wife has taken over most of it, so I can actually start doing some work again, which is
that's cool.
I'm very, very grateful for.
Yeah. And you actually, so you shoot with your wife, don't you?
Yes. We're actually,
how did that happen? How did you come to shoot together?
Well, diving into the heart of it, that's actually an interesting story. And then so many things are tied to it. So it started in 2016. And I was doing really, really well just on my own, having fun. I started being a self-employed photographer in 2010.
Okay. Oh, quite well then, almost like a decade.
Yes, it is a decade. I just realized at the beginning of this year.
Were you doing weddings right from the beginning, or doing?
Yes. Yeah. The very first paid gig I did was a wedding. And it was all very traditional back then, all the beauty shots and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
And so 2015 already I started to take the plunge into photojournalism a little bit with weddings, so moments photography,
right?
And that really really caught on fast with me. Because,
okay,
hang on, this is what it's supposed to be like. This makes sense now.
Yeah.
So that was 2015, and then in 2016 something weird happened. So so I woke up in the middle of the night. On a Thursday night it was. I had a wedding the day after. So I woke up in the middle of the night at 1:00, and I was staring in my wife's face. My tongue hurt. There was blood dripping down my chin, and my in-laws were in the bedroom, which was weird. They don't usually do that.
No, that is quite weird.
Yes. So apparently I had a I think it's called a seizure in English.
Oh, right. Okay. Wow.
And it's what epileptics have mostly.
Right.
So
man, scary.
I know. Well, it wasn't for me. I had no clue what was going on. It's just I was staring into it like, what the hell is going on? And like 30 seconds later, the ambulance people walked in. So I was like, what the hell is going on? So it turned out I had a seizure. So I ran off to the hospital, and as a responsible wedding photographer, knowing you have a wedding the next day, first thing you do is post a message online, see if anybody's available to take over that wedding the next day, because I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be able to do that.
Yeah, terrifying.
That's crazy. And there were a lot of helpful photographers out here. There's a great community here in the Netherlands.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I did get helped out that Friday and the Saturday that I had a wedding also. Right. So anyway, long story short, I ended not having epilepsy. Is that how you pronounce it?
Epilepsy? Yeah.
I don't have that. So there's this little thing in my brain, which is sort of a cluster of veins, really tiny veins.
Right.
And one of them popped and started leaking. So it's the sort of size of a marble.
Oh man.
Yes. So it sort of shortcutted my brain.
Oh, that must have been terrifying for you and your wife.
Well, my wife mostly, because I didn't have a clue what was going on. I just had a little bit of pain in my tongue, but I completely missed the whole episode. And she got everything. So me shaking and well, weird eyes and everything. So she's been traumatized ever since.
Right, I bet. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Are you okay then? Are you all right?
Yes. Well, that's the weird bit, right? So I ended up in hospital for a few days. And they scanned me through an MRI, and they found that little marble vein thingy, which is quite common, but mine popped, which is not that common.
Okay.
So they started monitoring me and looking, okay, is it growing? No, it's not growing. What are the possibilities of it starting to leak again? Not that big. So we'll just leave it there.
Right, okay.
They left that choice with me, but that's what we're doing. So I'm okay. I get checkups every year, and there's not that much going on, actually.
Okay, cool. That's
but
good.
Yes, exactly. But here comes the part where my wife Mitzy gets into the picture, because I still had a lot of weddings to do that year, and the rule here is if you had one of these seizures, you're not allowed to drive.
Okay, yeah.
Security and insurance reasons for 6 months. So I really needed just a driver for weddings I needed to go to. So I got some students here and there and some friends, but most of them my wife joined me. Right. And well,
had she done any kind of photography before?
Nothing. But I mean, absolutely nothing. And I said, look, here's a backup camera. I mean, she was bored, obviously. There wasn't that much driving going on all day. So I said, look, here's a camera. Just shoot stuff. Just shoot ad stuff for all I can. Shoot me, then I can use it for backstage, for social media or whatever. Just go. And here's the thing, right? So that first wedding, I came home and I started downloading my pictures, and then I said, okay, give me your card, and I started downloading those. And then that's when the surprise happened. But because remember what I said, in 2015 I started to get into the photojournalism of things.
Right, yeah.
Apparently she had a knack for that. I mean,
really straight away,
right away. And technically there was obviously much to do about it, but she knew those moments. She anticipated them really, really well. So she felt it.
That's cool.
So she had that. So cool. we decided for all the weddings after that, we decided to work on that and give her sort of a training, a sort of a crash course.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what happened, man. And
that's cool. And How long was it before you were kind of both full? Are you both full time together then now? Like, yeah.
Yes, we are both full time. Obviously now things are a little wobbly, but okay.
Yeah, yeah. Apart from the pandemic, but yeah, how long did it go from that first wedding where she kind of shot with you until you were kind of both fully time working together?
Yeah, 6 months.
So, wow, that was quick
Yeah,
then. That's
we're a bit.
cool.
We can be a bit impulsive sometimes.
Well, I think that can be a really good thing in life, though, because
I
otherwise you can just not get things done if you think about it too much.
exactly, and that's actually how I started being self-employed as well. Um, because I had a job, but I got burned out, and I was doing photography, and I was coming out of the burnout, and my boss said, okay, look, man, I love you. You can stay here. You can do whatever you want. Just pick any job in the company. You can do it.
Oh,
Easy job,
wow.
hard job, whatever. However, you have to make a decision. It's either this or photography, because if you stay here, I want you 100%. So
Right.
right then and there, I decided, okay, thanks for the offer. I'm going with photography, which was
Oh,
also a bit of a hard conversation when I got home.
yeah.
But she understood.
That's cool. Oh, that's so good to have a supportive partner like that.
Yeah.
And now, how do you find it now then, kind of working as a husband and wife team? Do you ever argue, ever disagree about things, or is it like a perfect union on the day?
Neither. It's in between. It's a gray area as always, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. No, we do argue about many things. We're but we share the same vision. We share the same vision about life. We share the same vision about photography, and we share the same vision about what a wedding should be and what it should look like. And sometimes I surprise her with something, and vice versa. She surprises me. It's like, did you take that photo? Are you sure? Yeah, yeah. And then it surprises me, and that goes both
Nice.
ways. And then you sort of build on that together.
That's cool. That's cool. I love my wife dearly, and she will be listening to this afterwards as well. But I don't know how I can't imagine working with her at a wedding. I think it's a great skill that you two can do that.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But yeah, we pull it off, and we had worked together in the past, so we knew we were going to be able to do that. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And do you have like certain roles that you stick to on the day? Like, does one of you do bride prep and the other does groom prep, or are you kind of do you both do both things? How do you do it?
We do both things. We swap. So one time I'll do the bride, next time she does the bride, and that's something we
Right.
talk to our couples about, obviously, because every now and again you do get a bride who says, "Okay, I really want a woman there to be with me."
Yeah, sure.
Although the type of clients we get are, yeah, usually that relaxed and say, "Oh, really, I don't care. Just
Uh,
whoever. Just I trust you both."
That's cool. And I guess the clients must love the fact, really, that you're a husband and wife team. I think that must add, a certain degree of, I don't know, just overall kind of like warmth and empathy, maybe knowing that their wedding's going to be captured by a couple that are in love themselves. I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
talk about that on the client meetings and things?
We do, and that's something we didn't anticipate beforehand. So when we started doing this, obviously at some point we started doing the client conversations together,
Mhm.
and yeah, the at some point somebody must have said, "It's so cool that you guys are doing this together, and we're so happy, and that you guys are coming to our wedding." And then it took a while, but then we realized, hang on, for us it's a natural thing, right?
Mm.
It comes natural. It's just, yeah. At some point we decided, let's do this together because we enjoy doing it. And then to other people, it looks completely different. It looks like this is so cool. You guys share the love, and then you share the love of photographing a wedding also. How cool is that? So yeah,
Mm.
we do talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's very cool. And do you find I'm only ever really a solo shooter, and I have so many photos myself that I take. With the two of you, are you taking? How many photos do you take? Have you found that you're taking more and more, or are you shooting less as the years have gone on?
I'm shooting less. Mitz is sort of steady. I
Right.
call her Mitz sometimes.
Okay, cool.
She's called Mitzy, but I call her Mitz.
Cool.
Everybody also calls me Pete. Nobody ever calls me Peter.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
For future reference. Everybody who knows me longer than 5 seconds calls me Pete.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, no, she's sort of steady. I think like, let's say a 12-hour wedding, we end up with about 8 to 9,000 photos together. So it's
Right. Okay. That's quite a lot, but manageable, I guess.
It's manageable.
But you mentioned how you shooting less. Then is there a specific
Yes.
reason for that?
Yes, there is a specific reason, and he has a name. His name is Tyler Worken.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Which I just spoke to Tyler on
I
the
know,
last
I saw
episode.
that. Yeah, I still have to listen to it, but yeah, I saw that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, and not because he told me to, just because he started pushing me, and I started pushing myself to start shoot at things, as he calls it,
Right.
and actually shoot what's happening. So
Right.
that's been a big thing for me, and that for me that boiled down to shooting less, not just running around and frantically clicking the shutter button.
Yeah, I get that. So it's a general kind of overall kind of slowing down and more patience. I think for
Yeah.
me, that's been a big effect on my kind of documentary is definitely patience. But it's hard, isn't it? A lot of the time when you hear that huge laugh and you feel like you've got to run away and capture that. But I guess part of it is having confidence in yourself. That's something that you appreciate. So it might be happening in front of you and sticking with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I often say photography is about making decisions the whole day. You're making bigger and smaller decisions about, okay, do I do this? Do I stay here? Do I go there? You have to make a choice. Choices, choices, choices the whole day. That's what you do. And I've learned by practicing my patience, which is not my strongest, not the strongest part of my character, but I've learned to be more patient as a person by doing that. And also what I've done is, this is a top tip for anybody who wants to practice this. I wasn't sure if I was going to give this away, but I'm going to, because
Cool.
because I did some family sessions just to practice this, and all I took was one camera, one lens, and one 2 GB card, which took about 40 photos.
Ah, right.
And then I shot for about 4 hours with family, so I had to be really, really, really careful about what I shot. And I wasn't allowed to delete anything, so you have to be strict on yourself, otherwise this doesn't work.
That is cool. That is a really good idea.
I know. It worked like a charm. So by the time I was doing the third one, things were going crazy fast, because that's a learning curve that's crazy. Works really well.
That is cool. Right. Okay. And your next wedding, you can only take 100 frames.
Exactly. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that, because I know with weddings there's always the pressure, right? So you have to.
Oh yeah, no,
I don't know, give yourself some space, but still, yeah.
But the idea, I think that's a really good idea of challenging yourself like that, and that makes really, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you should, and let me know how it works. And I like simplifying this stuff, you know. I like working with 1 or 2 lenses, and yeah. So I like simplifying my choices, because I don't like choices. I'm the person that gets flustered in the supermarket aisle with 1,400 different types of gel or deodorant, you know. That just give me 2.
I totally agree with you there, though. I think, keep it simple, stupid. I totally agree with that. And I shoot with just the 2 lenses the whole day, 25mm, 85mm. And then I'm not having to, my brain's not in overdrive thinking, oh, what's going to be the best kind of lighting setup or best lens here. I just know what works for me. And then, you can concentrate on the moments and the composition that way.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it helps me. So same thing with the 2 GB card. It's really hard, though. But yeah, it did work getting my brain into that place, you know?
Yeah, no, that's cool. Great idea. It'd be cool if anyone who's listening wants to try that out and let us know how you get on, because I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's change tack slightly then, Pete. If you won the lottery, what would you spend it on? Or would you still do wedding photography?
Ooh.
Do you enter the lottery? They must have one in Holland.
I don't actually. No, well, no. I do once. Yeah. I do once a year. We do once a year. So with New Year's.
Okay, yeah.
That's a tradition thing. That's the only one we enter.
Right.
I'm a big believer in creating your own luck, you know. But still, that it's nice to have that dream once a year. What would I do? I guess I would still be doing wedding photography. So here's the thing, right? So I've been in love with photojournalism ever since I encountered it, and Tyler is also the one who really ignited that flame in me, the way he does it. And
that's cool.
The way he set up his rules, the photojournalism ethics. I really have to thank him for that. And I like that, because it limits my choices, and that, again, simplifies things for me.
Right.
Simplifies the choices, not the results.
Yeah.
I think I would still do wedding photography, but I would definitely travel more, because I'm 38 now.
That's so young. That's young, man.
I
Young.
know. Hang on. I'm 30. I'm young. So there's still a possibility. But I wish I traveled more in my early 20s, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And
What
I
before
didn't.
before you had kids?
Yes, exactly. So I didn't. We didn't. So that's something we'd like to do with the kids as well. And we're trying to find a way to fit that into our lives.
Right.
I
Yeah. Might have
suppose.
to
So,
wait a while until international travel is a bit.
well, yeah, that's going to be problematic now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but so winning the lottery would probably give us the opportunity to do that more travel, because I think that's the travels I've done so far have always made me a better person, a richer person, and have given me great photo opportunities as well.
No, that's always good, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do
love
you,
that.
do you like traveling for weddings?
I do actually, and I don't get to do it enough. I'm always jealous of the photographers who show off all these great destination weddings, and I'd love to do more of those. I've done a few. We've done Mitz and I together. I've done one in France, and I've done one in Italy, in Tuscany.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's nice.
Yes, wow, it was really nice actually, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I'd love to be. I love if there were more of them. Although, from a practical point of view, I don't think we could do like more than 2 or 3 every year, because we'll get very unpractical with the kids.
Yeah, it is. It just changes, doesn't it, when you have kids?
Yes.
I'm kind of jealous of those young, early 20-something photographers who can target destinations all the time. But yeah, what does it mean to be successful to you?
That's a very good question actually, because that's the sort of thing that changes over time, doesn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So it used to mean being on top of your game and winning all the awards and being well known in the photography world, which is a really small world.
Yeah.
There's an enormous world besides that and outside of that, which is equally interesting or even more. And that's something I discovered the past, let's say, 2 years. And that became more interesting to me, and coincidentally, that's the time when I started winning the awards, because probably I let go of that notion.
Right. Okay.
And I just let things be.
Okay. And that's when you had more success. That's ironic, isn't it, in that way?
Well, that's it is ironic, and also it's. I mean, is it success? I don't know. I mean, that's a philosophical question, isn't it?
Exactly. That is the thing, and that's why I find this question so interesting. Just how,
I know. Because
yeah.
besides a photographer, I'm also an entrepreneur, right? So I in the end I look at the numbers, and if the numbers aren't great, something's not going well. I could be the best photographer in the world for winning awards or getting credits or prizes or whatever. If I'm not selling, what's the point? I mean, I should be selling weddings and shoots. So it's a combination of these both things, right? That defines success for me, and I'm always struggling to find a balance between them. So always the artist and the entrepreneur that are fighting. So sometimes one takes over and sometimes the other.
Yeah, totally get that. And do you and Mitzy have a kind of similar outlook on that and what success is?
Yeah, we do actually, and that's probably why why we're such a good match in life and also in photography, because and I think Mitzy even more. I mean, being completely honest, I think I was more hung up, and maybe still am a little bit on recognition. That's
right.
Getting the recognition. She isn't that much. She's the most honest and I'm trying to think of the English word.
Man, your English is so good. I so wish I could speak the language like you could speak English. It's amazing.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, well, I've worked with English people. I've lived in Spain for a couple of years, and then there I worked with just English people. So, and I have a neck for languages. So, I mean, I love that. I didn't love it in high school because you were supposed to be good at math, and I wasn't. So.
Oh, okay. And have you come over to England much?
Not that much, actually. I visited London, and that's it. I visited London like 4 times. I think, and that's it. Yeah, no, I should have been.
Sure, you got to come down to Cornwall. I live in the very southwest of England.
I'd love to visit, man. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think that's one of the most beautiful parts of England, right? Is that
it is. I'm biased, but it is. You know, it's right by the beaches
I
and
know that's like the surfing area,
it
isn't it?
is. Yeah.
I
Although
mean,
I've never surfed. You know, I live here and I've never surfed.
but that's okay, man. Look, I live in the Netherlands. I'm not hung up on smoking marijuana because I never do. Everybody's surprised about that, but I'm not. I
That's
can't
funny.
change that.
Do
So
you know what?
yeah,
I've never been to Holland. I really want to go. I've never been.
you
I've got to
haven't
go.
been.
No, I know it's bad, isn't it? I do really want to go.
Well, yeah, at least Amsterdam, you should.
Yeah, I've got to. I've got to. Do you think since becoming a wedding photographer that it's had an effect on your character at all?
It did actually, and even a photographer in general, but especially a wedding photographer, because it took me a while to figure this out, right? So, photography is a social. You have to be quite sociable as a
Yeah.
photographer, and I've only learned that after doing a few weddings that people look at you for certain decisions. That especially in the beginning when I was doing the traditional weddings,
Right.
and I couldn't get people to loosen up, so I had to change something about my input on that. So from being a quite introverted, shy boy, I turned into a very extroverted man.
Yeah. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yes, and that's what photography has done for me, and wedding photography for the main part. But I've also been doing a lot of commercial photography,
Right.
and that has also really shaped my character in dealing with other people, and if you have to shoot some hot shot of a big company, uh, you gotta be up against this character, right? These are the macho boys, so you have to be able to still steer him in the direction you want to, and that takes a little bit of skill, and it took some time to learn that, and I, in turn, use that in weddings also. So I used to be very introverted, and that's completely changed. I'm not an extroverted person now. I'm apparently what's called an extroverted introvert.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
I
I've seen
can,
those personality test type things. Yeah.
I know, I can be extroverted in a group at some point. So I'll be the light of the party and talk to everybody and have fun. And at some point, something just snap, and I'll have to go back into my cave for a little bit. And
Right. Yeah. I understand that.
but that's what photography has given me. That's completely changed my character. It's completely changed.
Yeah, that's cool though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting as well. I guess I guess Mitzy must have seen a change in you. Has when she started doing weddings as well, though, did you see a change in her character?
I don't think so. She's been very steady.
Cool.
She's a very steady person. She's awesome. I mean, the way she's picked up this and her learning curve was crazy, man. I mean, you could look back at when the first This Is Reportage Awards she started winning. That was really short after she started photographing.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And other awards as well. So her learning curve has been amazing, and I think that's down to her being so steady and knowing what's real.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. No, that's cool. And it's funny you mentioned an award there, and you wrote a "This Is How" piece for us about one of your specific reportage awards, which obviously people listening they can't see it, but it's if they go to the site thisreportage.com, there'll be a full transcript of this, and I'll put the image in there as well, so you'll be able to see it. It's a really kind of strikingly emotional capture of a hug between the groom and his grandma, I think, isn't it?
It is, and yeah, this. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, and in the piece you mentioned how you knew to watch out for that moment between them because you knew their particular backstory. So I just wondered if you could expand on that for our listeners. Do you think it really helps your photography on the day to know your clients well beforehand?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything, right? So on the day it comes down to your knowledge of your gear and everything and your craft. That's all. That should be muscle memory, and then it comes down to seeing or feeling the moments. And before all of that, so before the day happens, it's preparation, because there's a lot of things you can be aware of beforehand. So we talk to our couples extensively beforehand. So we do 2 meetings.
Okay.
We do the meeting where we just say, hi, this is us, and would you like to book us? And then hopefully they do.
Yeah.
And then there's a second meeting, quite short before the wedding, as short as possible, like 2 weeks or something, not much further, because then it stays fresh. And we really grill them. We want to know everything. We want to know who's who, what's what, where are you going, how does the room look like, what's your mom gonna react like, what's the backstory of that, where are you gonna, everything. We write all of that down, and then we go over it again, usually the night before the wedding. So this is what we did with this wedding as well. So there was a backstory to this groom as well. So they were getting married on the estate of his grandfather, who wasn't alive anymore. He just died a couple of months before the wedding. So actually, in the middle of planning that wedding, the grandfather, where they were supposed to have the wedding, died.
Oh man, yeah.
Terribly sad. And of course, we knew this. So you're always at that point you're always looking for the moment between the groom and the grandmother, because you know it's going to happen sooner or later. And this was actually the first time they came really close, because it was right after a ceremony, so they hadn't had time to be together before that. So I knew they were gonna be close and hold each other for a while, and they did. And I didn't know it was going to be this gripping, but it was, yeah.
And it's such a cool capture, honestly. It's really striking. It's brilliant, and such a deserved award winner. And it's just so interesting to hear. You know, you possibly wouldn't have got that shot if you hadn't have known the backstory and to kind of, you know, to be ready for that. Then really.
No, exactly, and this goes back to making decisions, right? So usually what we do, if people start hugging each other, we try to get the face of the one that's hugging the groom or the bride. I mean, the groom and bride are usually in the pictures a lot.
Yeah, sure.
So this time I want to see who is hugging him or her. And I knew for this one I didn't want to do that. So I purposely.
Yep, that's good.
I turned around to get the face of the groom. I wanted to see his face, how he would react to this, because I knew he was very close to his grandfather. So this was something that had to do with the preparation and knowing I have to go there if I want to have the capture I would like to have. And this doesn't always work, but this time it did really well.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's a brilliant image. Obviously, and anyone listening to this, do come to the site and check it out. It's fab. Cool. Let's go back a bit in time then. Can you take us back to your very first paid wedding? Do you? I guess you must remember how you were feeling. How did you get your very first wedding? And how did it go on the day itself?
Well, it's sort of linked to the first wedding I did, which was of a cousin.
Okay, cool.
And I did that one for free. They were really young, didn't have any money. I was photographing. I hadn't done any weddings, but I said, do you want to do our wedding? And I did. It was great. I loved it. Cool. And I think it was friends of them. I'm not really sure, it's 10 years ago, but I think I was friends with them. And they approached me, would you like to do our wedding also?
Right. And
I said, sure, I'm just building a website actually. So give me 1 week and then the website will be ready, which it wasn't obviously, but I had a page on there which had pricing. So good.
Yeah.
And it was a different experience, right, from the first one, because at the first one I was sort of completely free and I had all these ideas and they were happy to go along with it.
Okay.
And now it was a paid gig, so I felt different, right?
Yeah. Were you scared? Were you nervous?
I wasn't scared. I've never been the kind of person that gets scared before these big kind of things. I'm not the type of guy who lies awake or worries about heart failures or. No, I just don't. That's not. But I was nervous, so I was just nervous for stuff happening. I wasn't that well prepared as I am now.
Right. Okay.
I hadn't talked that extensively to the couple, so I was sort of I had a semi-schedule of the day, what was going to happen when, and we'll see how it goes. So at some point at the day I was, hang on, I'm not really sure what's going to happen now. Where are we going to go? And I know in an hour from now the reception is going to start, but what's going to happen in between? I have no clue. So what should I do? So that really got me nervous beforehand, but only on the morning itself. Hang on, I haven't thought this through. So yeah, that's something I worked on for the wedding after that, and to improve that. Something you learn on, which is what is called learning on the job, right?
That's true.
That fits me very well, actually.
But did it overall though? Did it go well? And
it actually did go well, and they were really happy. And like I said, there was all the traditional stuff back then. So 3-hour photo shoots, all the beauty things, wide open.
3 hours.
Man, it's terrible. Wide open landscapes and cars driving on the beach, and getting stuck, obviously. But it was great. I had fun, right? So that was the point of it.
That's cool. Yeah, exactly, definitely. Yeah, oh, that's cool. Yeah, and also obviously you were happy and just went from. How did you then get your kind of first kind of batches of weddings? Was there a specific marketing route you went? How did you get those?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody else about this recently, and I figured I can't really remember. I think I was using some social media back then already. So
okay.
So Facebook
pioneer.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. But I don't think most of the. I think SEO was a lot simpler then. Well, I think SEO was a lot simpler 4 years ago. So let alone 10 years ago. So I did get found quite a bit. Also from the one wedding I got another. From that wedding I got 2 others, I think. So that was 4 in the first year, because I did 11 weddings in the first year.
Okay, cool. That's good going.
I know, yeah. I was really happy. I was really happy. It didn't grow as fast the year after that, sadly, but it did grow. But there were a lot of weddings that came from people finding me on Google. Stuff like that.
Well, that's great. I mean, SEO is always good. Still good for me now as well. Though I should put more time into it. What advice would you give for people who have been shooting for years and now? Because you've been shooting for a decade. Oh, actually, before I say that as well, though, when you first started, because you're called Love Rules now, aren't you? Yes. Did you have that name when you were on your own, or is that when you started with Mitzy?
Yeah, that's when I started with Mitzy. So I used to be called Peter Geluk Bruidsfotografie, which is Peter Geluk Wedding Photography, which is a very inspirational name, obviously. So in 2016, or 17 actually, when Mitzy joined, really fast she became an equal part of the company. I mean, like I said, her learning curve was going so fast, and you couldn't call her a second shooter anymore, and so the name didn't make any sense anymore. And she really wanted to feel like part of the company, and the company was hers as well. So it made sense to change it, even though that was a scary move.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's when we changed it to Love Rules, and with many names have gone through the process.
Really? Yeah, I wondered if the naming of a company is always such a funny, an exciting thing, but so many opinions on that. Yeah. Yes. Did someone just come up with that and it was a eureka moment? Or
Yeah, Mitz came up with it on an evening on the couch. It was as simple as that. She said, I think at some point she just put up the 2 rock and roll fingers. You know those? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
And she said, I love rules.
Cool.
And I said, and at first I said, nah, man, that's weird.
No, it's great.
I know, because at some point I realized, hang on, it's a little bit weird. We're a little bit weird. It's fine. It fits. And then we're gonna make that weird logo with sort of a tattoo-like thingy. So yeah.
That's cool. Proper cool. And so no, I was started to ask it, but what advice would you give now for people who have been shooting for years? Because as you've been shooting for a decade on your own, and is it about 4 or 5 years as Love Rules now as well?
Yeah.
What advice would you give for people who've been shooting quite a while, but maybe not happy with their work, or just feeling a bit stagnated, or just not thinking their career is where they want it to be? Have you ever got any advice for that?
Yeah, I do. Because that happened to me. And I think it happens maybe to all of us at some point, or most of us.
Yeah, definitely.
And what helped me is, like I said, it changed my character. I became more extroverted. I gained a lot of friends in the photography industry since then. And I used to be quite standoffish on that. Let me do my thing on my own. I can do it all on myself. And of course I couldn't. I could, but then I got stagnated at some point because there was nothing else I could teach myself. So I started reaching out to other photographers, and sometimes photographers started reaching out to me. And so I started making friends, and those friends introduced me to other photographers. And they started introducing me to all these cool workshops and mentoring programs. So yeah, it's the cliche of the year, right? But getting help from somebody who's further along the way is really the way to go, because those people can help you guide you through to a place that you feel more comfortable and more happy with what you're doing. So
Yeah.
Tyler is a good example who did that for me. There's more people, and there's this great mastermind group that I've been a part of for the past 2 years, and we've really helped each other go far. Denise is in there. Denise Motz, you know her?
Oh yeah, cool. She was on the podcast a while ago. So,
Yeah.
that's cool. Are you like kind of critiquing each other's work and
Yeah.
things? And,
Yeah. So it's photography, it's business, it's art, it's everything. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
we've really been helping each other further along. So yeah,
I think
that's very valuable. Talk to other people, get out there, and yeah, follow workshops and get mentoring. I think mentoring is actually the best tip I can give anyone, because that's one-on-one, and
Yeah. I think that's so cool. Just that general advice of kind of reaching out and talking to other photographers. I mean, that was massive for me as well,
yes.
And it's such a friendly scene, isn't it, as well?
It is. We're all very friendly and nice, and everybody's helping each other. Like I said, back when 2016, when my little accident happened, and there were many people who were ready to take over and help me out, and that's really what it comes down to. We're all happy to help out. We're all nice guys. We're all nice girls.
No, that's really cool. And you mentioned mentoring there as well, and along with Mitzy, you teach and mentor other photographers. Could you tell us a bit about that? I guess you must enjoy it. Do you like feel responsibility for your kind of like mentoree? What's the word? I don't know. Mentees progress. Yeah.
I do actually. Yeah, and it's tricky, right? Because I have a big sense of responsibility, so that kicks in when you're mentoring somebody. You wanna make sure they walk away with well, either a lot more knowledge or a really good feeling about where they're gonna go. And I come from a family of teachers.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes, many teachers in my family, so that sort of runs in my blood as well, I suppose. I really like doing it. I really talking to somebody and at some point, that seeing that light bulb come on above their head.
Yeah.
Hang on, okay, see, now I can tell you've learned something from me in this moment that really gives me goosebumps sometimes. So I love doing that.
That's cool.
But I do feel responsible for their progress, and that's a tricky one, because I think you should be able to let go, because at some point it's out of your hands, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. It's interesting though, isn't it? I find. And do you do your mentoring kind of in person or online, or is it a mix?
We've done both. So the first one is always in person, because I want to look somebody in the eyes and get to know them a little bit better, if I already don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's many online sessions as well, But I think I usually like the face-to-face sessions a little bit better.
Bit trickier at the moment, though.
Yes, very. It's not happening.
No, that's cool, and I'll include links to your website if anyone's licking. Licking. I can't even talk. I'm doing a podcast. I can't even talk. It's funny, but yeah, if anyone's listening, I'll put links to your website, which has your mentoring details on there as well. Do you have a particular piece of software or app that you couldn't do without, apart from Lightroom? Or do you use Lightroom? I presume you're using Lightroom.
I do. Yeah. I've been. I shoot Fuji, so I'm kind of a little bit different from most people.
Okay.
Sony, I suppose, at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
And Nikon. But I've been shooting Fuji for 4 years, and there's this Capture One. You know this?
I've heard of it. I've never.
Yeah. So and they have this version specifically for Fuji files, because they're kind of special.
Oh, okay.
Like me. No, but I've tried it, and I don't know. I couldn't find my way around it, so I have to spend more time with it, I suppose. But I'm using Lightroom still. Yeah.
Right. Cool. And do you have any? But other than that, and your kind of just anything kind of workflow or your admin or your business side, is there a piece of software or app that you absolutely love and could recommend?
Yes, I can. So I'm kind of big on branding, right? I love that.
Right.
So what I use to get everything sort of on brand or at least close to it is Adobe Spark. Do you know this?
Again, I've heard of it. I've never tried it. So I
It's
guess part of the
fantastic.
Adobe is it? What kind of things do you do in that? It's
I
design
make
stuff, is it?
simple graphic designs it's so oh man, I love that because it's been around for a few years, but they've developed it now.
Okay.
They've made it a little bit better, so you can put different brands in it. So the logo and the colors of that specific brand and anything you design, it'll just start with those colors and put the logo
Ah,
in.
that's
Uh,
clever. Is it
I
quite
know
intuitive then?
it's unbelievably intuitive, and it works online. So there's a web app you can
Okay.
use, spark.adobe.com or something, and there's an app for iPhone and probably for Android as well.
Cool.
And it works so intuitive, man, because it starts with, okay, what do you want to design for? So Instagram or Instagram stories or Facebook or YouTube cover or whatever. So that's your starting point. I use it for socials only. I don't use it for bigger designs. So that's what I use InDesign for.
Okay.
Because I'm a designer by training.
Oh, cool. That's handy then. That's handy.
Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't start in InDesign because
Oh,
it's
okay. But maybe
nuts.
someone who's not done any graphic design, would you recommend Spark then?
Spark, go to Spark, especially for your social media stuff. If you wanna, we know Canva. You know Canva? That's
I've
the
heard of it again, but I've not tried that. Yeah.
exactly. But I find Spark a little bit more intuitive and simple. Again, simplifying stuff. That's my thing.
Yeah.
So,
That sounds good to me as well. That's cool.
exactly. I like stuff with just one button, like
Right,
Michael.
yeah. Oh, cool. That's a good tip then. Is it like a monthly subscription to that, or is it?
It is. I have the full Adobe package, so with Premiere and everything. So then it comes with it.
Right, okay.
I think if you have the package that only has Photoshop and Lightroom, which I suppose many photographers have.
Yeah, that's what I've got as well, actually.
Yeah. So there's I think there's a free version of Spark,
Okay.
but it sort of limits you in what you can export or download from it.
Right, sure. Oh, it'd be good to trial it though, probably.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's fast, man. I can just during
Oh,
watching television, I can create something that I can put on my stories. I love
oh,
that.
that's good. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. I'm gonna check that
I
out.
love that. I love this
Um,
stuff, man.
that's cool. Now I think, am I right? You also have a videographer in your team now.
Yeah, we do.
How did that come about? And because I know it's something that quite a few photographers are looking at, maybe bringing a videographer on board as well. So do you have any advice for that?
Yeah, well, this one happened quite naturally. So he's from around these parts,
Okay.
and we met on a wedding, obviously, and he's a really young guy. And when I saw him at the first wedding, I thought, wow, not sure what I'm gonna expect from him. It was a few years ago, like I think 4 or 5 years ago, even before Mitzy joined Love Rules.
Right.
And then he made this amazing film, right? Something I really enjoyed. It was like this really storytelling thing before the storytelling videos really caught on,
Oh, cool.
which they have now, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love that. And then I talked to him, and I met him at a few other weddings. And I said, well, if ever you want to work together, let me know. And he never got back to me, so I figured, okay, he's doing fine on his own, which
Right,
he was,
yeah.
because he does all these crazy things for Discovery Channel as well. He shot some Red Bull camel race in, I don't know,
wow.
Abu Dhabi or something.
Nice.
He does amazing stuff. But then when Love Rules started, we figured, okay, how cool would it be if we could expand the team with a videographer and maybe at some point also with more photography members. So
Right,
it
yeah.
becomes more of a brand.
Mm.
Well, that hasn't happened yet. But the videographer did happen, because when we started Love Rules, I contacted him again and said, okay, hang on, this is what we're thinking. Would you still be interested? And he said, yes. Why haven't you called me? So we're kind of waiting for each other, which was stupid. But
Right, yeah.
So
Ah.
he was happy to join.
Right, cool. And so do you shoot quite a few together with a videographer then, with him?
I would love to do more. It's a hard sell, to be honest. We have a fixed price for him, which is easy. But at least 4 or 5 a year we do together. But I'd love to do a lot more.
Yeah.
Because
And do you have any tips in general for working with a videographer?
Yes, make very, very good. Crap! Now I can't find the English word. That's annoying after like an hour and a half. No, it's you have to talk to each other about what he can and cannot do. So with us, because we're the main contractors, so to speak, for the couple,
Oh, right, yeah.
the photographers always get firsthand at everything. So he's backseat to everything we do, and he knows that. He's fine with that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's,
So you get first dibs at the food.
Yes, at the cake and the sweets and everything. Yeah. So he has to wait for that, and then we'll bring him one when he sits in the corner.
Yeah.
So here. No, we get at the ceremony. He has to take a backseat to us being up front and shooting stuff from close if we want to. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
and he's happy with that. He knows.
He's happy with it. Yeah. He's fine because he does weddings on his own as well, still, which is fine. Yeah. And he does them a little bit differently, and that's fine. But when he's working with us, then we have this agreement. He doesn't set up any huge lights and no big tripods and everything for some Steadicam. I don't know. Yeah. I want to see nothing. I just want him with a camera in his hand, and that's it. And that's fine. Yeah. It really works out well.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay, let's change tack again slightly as well. What's something that you really love, but that most people seem to hate?
In wedding photography?
No, it can be if you want, but it could be just anything.
Something I love, what other people seem to hate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a broad question, man.
I know. So I like these, man.
I know. I imagine you do. You can hear us squirm.
Or you could flip it around. Something that you hate that most people seem to love.
That's easier, I suppose.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Right. So that is.
I don't particularly love going to the beach.
Really? Oh, that is unusual. Why not?
Which is I don't know. It's sand between your toes and everything. And I just don't like it, and I don't like swimming in the sea. And
oh, okay, yeah.
It's not my thing. I don't hate it, but it's and it's ironic because we have a beach 50 meters from our house now. Since
50 meters, really?
Yes, it's like down the street over the dike. I don't know if you can say dike, but
oh, right, yeah,
that's what it's called. It's like a little hill that stops water from coming into our houses. Right, so you go over that, and there's the beach. It's really, really close. So we go there, but I try to stay out of the. It's weird, man. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that is a bit unusual, but that's cool. That sort of makes you use that. But that's awesome to live so near to the beach. I'd love that.
Yeah, and that's. I don't know. We're weird people a little bit, right? Like I said before. So we lived in this big house and paid a lot of money on the mortgage, and then at some point a couple of years ago we decided that didn't make any sense.
Okay, cool.
We didn't want to do it, so we sold the house and we bought a really, really small house back. So we're a lot less space now.
But that's cool.
But it's 50 meters from the beach, and even though I don't like the beach, I like walking along it.
Oh, okay, right.
Just by myself and listening to the birds.
So why was there a specific reason why you did that downsizing then? And
yeah, there was, because at some point we were talking about this and we figured, okay, do we want to keep working just to pay the mortgage for this ridiculous house, or do we want to live? And then we decided we want to live and enjoy ourselves and enjoy time with our kids.
That's so cool.
I
think that's really inspirational, man. I really do. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I've heard that from other people since we've not been secretive about this. We've told everybody, look, this is what we're doing. It's a weird move. I know, not many people do this, but we're downsizing and we love it. And we're going a little bit more minimalistic. We gave away a lot of stuff. We sold a lot of stuff. We threw away a lot of stuff, and
wow,
it's simplifying again, man. It's I can really recommend it to everybody. Not living in a smaller house, that's not for everybody, but it works really well for us, actually. It's
that's great, man. I think that's so cool that you've just got your priorities. You know what makes you happy, because so many people are in this rat race of just material after material object, bigger and bigger house, more and more money, but that's not what life's about. I
don't think it is, and it's fine if you want that,
Oh yeah.
Keep going for it. If that makes you happy, please, by all means. But it didn't make us happy. It just it weighed on us, right? That mortgage, that big amount of money you had to, get out there every month and give to the bank, and it made no sense, right? So we decided we had to stop doing that. Well, the only way to do that is sell and buy something that's cheaper, and cheaper usually means smaller. So
yeah, that's true. But near the beach though, which is nice. That's even though you don't like the beach.
Even though I don't like the beach, I like being beach adjacent.
What annoys you in life, Pete?
What annoys me? dishonesty mostly, I suppose.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Dishonesty and injustice. Really, really, and it has been since I was a kid.
Oh, really? Okay, always
Yeah,
been like that. Yeah.
yeah, it really winds me up. So I
Were you
can't.
were you kind
I,
of like standing up for people at school and things?
no, man, I wasn't. I didn't have the balls to do that.
Oh, really?
No. I wish I did. I was always. I'm a fairly small guy, so I was
Right.
always the smallest in my class, and so I was sort of a protester in my own bedroom or something like that. Oh, I hate when people do that. So
No,
yeah,
that's funny though. Oh, yeah, but I understand those annoyances. What were you
yeah.
generally like at school then? Were you kind of creative as a kid? Did you? I guess you didn't dream of being a wedding photographer.
No, not at all. I didn't even dream of being anything creative. So the way I was little bit of a backstory, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, stories are good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. So I was raised in a very small village. Actually, the village I'm again living in now,
Okay.
as luck would have it. And it's a very religious village, and I was raised very religiously. So
Okay.
and I'm talking no TV, no radio.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yes, Sundays 2 times to church and not going out and stuff like that.
Right. Well, no TV at all as a child.
Nothing. Well, I did watch TV at Friends, obviously.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tried to do as much as possible. I was addicted to Zorro. But yeah, so no TV at home. So that's tricky, right? That's a weird way of growing up in these times and in the
Different.
80s as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. I completely forgot what I was going with.
Oh, talk about how you were at school and whether you got
Right, yeah.
creative or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in a bit of a conservative environment, and the schools I went to were the same. And especially the one I went to was the high school was very conservative, and they didn't do anything with creativity.
Okay.
So nobody ever. I didn't know I was creative. I was doing creative things, but I thought everybody did those. I didn't know. I was drawing, and I was always interested in photography, but didn't have a chance of doing it. But I was doing these mixtapes with my brother.
Oh, okay. What kind of mixtapes?
We were playing radio, basically.
Okay.
So we had a pickup from my dad and some church music that we put up, and then we connected the tape recorder to it and
Oh, cool. Okay.
spoke into the microphone of that, and then played music and then spoke again. So that's what we did.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we played radio. So that's creative things. And then we did plays in them. So we thought of a story and then played it out and recorded that, and all those tapes are lost, which is such a shame. Man.
Oh, that is a shame.
I
Isn't
know, that's horrible. And I mean, probably most of them were taped over during my teenage years with crappy music. But yeah, that's what happens, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But there was a lot of creativity going on, right? Music at some point started, playing the organ and later piano and guitar.
Oh, cool. Do you still play those?
Yes, I play guitar and bass.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Cool. You played in a band or anything?
I have played in many bands, but not at the moment. So
Right, yes.
it's sort of taking it back. So I've started doing acting now.
Oh, are you really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Because
Cool.
I thought that would be nice, so I should try it.
Yeah, well, you are very creative then. So, like, photography, music, acting. That's
Well,
awesome.
exactly. Well, I'm not sure if I'm any good at acting. Time will tell, and it's fun to do.
Oh,
But
okay. So are you doing it kind of regularly at the moment? No, I guess you're not acting at the moment then. But
No, nothing's
have you? No, is it kind of like plays in your area though before
Yeah.
this was happening? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
plays and stuff like that. So yeah, and some improv.
Oh man, cool. That's cool. Do
Yeah.
you not get nervous about that either then?
Yes, I do, but I'm better at improv than at plays because I'm crap at remembering lines. So I'm a lot better at the improv things,
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Sorry, I've taken you totally off.
Yes.
There.
That's fine. I
Taking
don't
you in
want-
different tangents, but
Yeah, no, that's fine. I love that. But yeah, so all that creative stuff was going on, and nobody really recognized it in me, and that's also because, like I said, I was very introverted and shy back then, and I think nobody really noticed me, and it was fine. That wasn't something that was hurtful to me or anything. It was fine. I was just plodding along, and that was fine. But I didn't realize the creativity in me either.
Right.
And if I would have, I probably would have started doing something creative a lot earlier, and I would have probably gone to an art school or something, which I didn't.
Okay.
Uh,
But then you never know, if you'd gone to an art school, it might have taken the love of it away from you, and then you might have not ever done something creative. You just never know, do you, I guess?
That's true, actually, yeah. I hadn't looked at it that way.
No, it's all good. But I guess so then, if you've been doing this 10 years, you started doing wedding photography when you were about 28 then, is that right?
Yeah.
That's still quite, I think, how old am I? Oh yeah. No, I'm not going to say on the podcast how old I am. No, I can. Yeah.
Come on.
No, I'm 39 and I've been doing this. I started in like 2012. So yeah, I started I was about 31 then, 32. So I wish I'd started earlier. So 28 though, that's quite young to start.
Yeah, it is okay actually, and it was a wild ride before then of working at companies and things I didn't like. The last company I worked for, I was, like I said, a graphic designer mostly, creative. They called it the creative manager.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
But it's such a good skill to have when you're starting your own business as well.
Yes, it is, and I still love it. I still do it. I do it for myself, and I sometimes do it for others, and I love doing it because, it's sort of a different outlet from time to time, you know.
That's cool. It's important to have that.
Yeah,
definitely. Oh man, cool, Pete. Honestly, this has gone. I've just checked the time. It's gone. It's gone so quickly. I thought it's just flown by. I think we've got time for just one more question, which is going to be a nice little throwaway question. But yeah, what, in your opinion, makes a good wedding photographer? It's a big one, isn't it? It's a big one.
It's a big one. But I think it's. Do you know what? I think. Is it possible to generalize even all the wedding photographers being a good wedding photographer? I mean, there's so many different ways.
Exactly.
There's so many different ways of going about this, and even my way and our way of shooting weddings is changing as we go along. So we become different wedding photographers, a little bit different every year, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah.
But what it does take is people skills, and that's something you can learn, because I'm the living and breathing example of that, because I didn't have them.
Right. Yeah.
And wedding photography has taught me that. So yeah, great people skills really make you a better wedding photographer, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. And I love the way how you had, as you say, you've had that experience, and that wasn't your forte, and then just by doing it more and more, though, you got so much better at that.
Yeah, and that goes for many things in life, right? So I always tell people around me, say, look, if I don't know how to do something, just pick me up, throw me in the deep end. When I can't swim, and I'll learn on the job, because that's the best for me. That's the best way of doing it for me. I'm learning stuff for me, and that's what I've done with wedding photography as well.
I totally get that. I think that's great. Cool. I think that's great advice, man. I really do. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh man, honestly, thank you, Pete. Sorry, that flew by. I could talk for hours, but it does. Thank you so much for that, for your time and and your honesty. I thought that was really, really interesting. Anyone who's listening whilst editing, I know I keep saying this, there's no weddings to edit at the moment, but people might be listening to this in 8 months' time as well, because so you never know what people are going to be doing. But yeah, head to the site thisisreportage.com. There'll be a full transcript of this, lots of examples of Pete's work and links to his websites as well. And hopefully I'll get to meet you in the flesh one day, man.
I would love that. And before we sign off, can I just say how cool it is that you started this whole This Is Reportage movement, because there wasn't something like this, and then when you started, I think I was one of the fairly early adopters of it.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, it's really it's really valuable, and the way you're doing the podcasts and now the Facebook lives, and you're looking for new stuff. I applaud you for that.
Oh, really thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it's awesome to have you part of it. You and Mitzy, you're both so great. And it's lovely just being able to chat to you properly. It's so nice.
All right.
Cool.
Let's do it in the flesh really soon.
Definitely, as soon as it's possible. And obviously, you're always welcome to come down here and stay with us in Cornwall.
Thanks.
Really.
I might take you up on that.
Do, honestly, definitely. The sun's shining now as well. I can't guarantee that when you come, but it's now.
Sounds nice, man.
Awesome, Matt. Will you both stay safe, and and I hopefully meet you at some point.
All right. Thanks.
Bye, dude.
Bye.
You've been listening to the 28th episode of the This Is Reportage podcast. Really enjoyed talking to Pete. Hope you enjoyed listening too. Head to thisisreportage.com to see the specific Reportage Award that Pete spoke about on this episode, as well as more examples of his work and link to his website. We also have lots more episodes of the podcast already released with photographers such as Lali Rico, Tyler Worken, Leonard Walpott, Candice Cusick, and many more too. If you have a spare moment to leave us a review on your podcast service of choice, that would be massively appreciated. It's really lovely to know that you're enjoying them. And if you're not yet a member of This Reportage, check out all the benefits of joining us, including an unlimited number of images on your profile, 60 Reportage Award and 18 Story Award entries per year, invites to our physical meetups and parties, exclusive discounts and more. The deadline for our latest round of awards, Collection 15, is really soon. Submit by 23:59 BST on 24th of May 2020. No poses, nothing staged. This is Reportage. And this is bye for now.